It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, what's happening, guys? Good morning to you. It is Tuesday, January 7th, which means you got 24 days left in this wonderful month of January 2020. Quick reminder that only 19 of those days are actually weekdays. So, I mentioned time every single morning, how many days are left in the year, how many days are left in the month. And there's a reason why I mentioned that. Number one, it is a great reminder to me that I'm keeping track of time all the time. And, I want to remind you guys too, because I want to make that a habit for those of you who tune into this show every single morning. I want to make that a habit for you guys to pay attention to the calendar and to make sure that you are making the best out of every single day, because they go by fast. I remember doing this show and it being November 1st and then looking down one morning and it was already December 20th. So time is a really important thing to keep track of. So I want to remind you guys every single morning as we start this show. And the title and topic of this morning's show is actually around that exact thing. So do you struggle with time management? Which is a conversation that I've had with several people over the last few days. And I wanted to bring some of the tips that I've shared with those people to you guys. So I got 7 bullet points to go through this morning that I hope will bring you some perspective on time management and kind of the struggle that a lot of people face with time management. So what's happening, Dayton, Jeff, Patricia, Mark, Bruce, Trisha, Bob, Trudy, Dean, good morning, guys. Thank you guys for jumping on. A lot of people on here first thing in the morning. But this should be a great topic. So if you guys could share this out, this is a perfect time of year for people to start to get their time management right. And it is important for people to understand exactly how to do that. I struggle with this. The thing that I told somebody the other day is when I spent my time in corporate America, you do year-end appraisals on a regular basis, sometimes even more often than that. And I felt like throughout my 20s, every single year I had time management on my development plan as something that I was trying to work on. And what was funny to me is that no one really helped me master time management. It wasn't until I started to read and educate myself and study other successful people that I kind of figured out what works for me. And again, what works for me is what I will share with you guys. I would love to hear if you guys have other tricks, other disciplines, other things and routines that you guys do that produce these types of results that create a consistent and calm and fulfilling life. By all means, share them in the comments here so that everybody can benefit from what you guys have figured out as well. So I'm going to jump right in here to these 7 things that I've written down this morning that I think will be a huge, huge help in kind of just giving you guys some perspective on where to start if you're struggling with time management, if you always feel like you're chasing your tail. One of the things to note that I said to someone yesterday is that I don't think that I've ever had more going on in my life, and I've never felt more calm than I do now with regard to how to handle it all. And I think that comes from these 7 bullet points. So again, I hope these are helpful to you guys. Number 1, and I think the most important thing, and you guys have heard me say this over and over and over again, but I'm going to say it again, is plan your day. And every single day, you have to plan your day, or you should try to plan your day. And as you work towards planning every single day, and yes, this even means the weekends, you have to understand one thing about this, is that it takes time to master. You're not going to go from never planning your day to consistently every single day being able to write in your planner and have a perfect plan and all that stuff. I bought my wife a planner at the end of last year just trying to help her, get a little bit more organized when it comes to the intentionality around our family. And I can see her, starting to write in it, but, kind of struggling a little bit with catching that routine of how to do that, and that becoming something that she does every single day. It's hard. It's hard for me, and I am somebody that preaches about it all the time and has been working on it for years. So I would tell you, every day doesn't have to be perfectly planned for it to be a success, and every day that you attempt to plan is better than the one that you don't. So just keep working at it, and you'll continue to establish a better routine that helps you feel more in control, that helps you be more productive. But bullet point number 1 is just to plan your day. It will help you not be reactive to all the craziness that goes on in life if you've got a to-do list and a plan of how everything's going to go. Number 2, learn to say no. Not everything is going to make sense in your life, guys, and it's okay to say no to people. This is one that I struggle with quite a bit, to be totally transparent with you. I say yes to a lot of things that after I say yes to them, I'm reevaluating a little bit, and I'm getting better at even that, just kind of getting those things off of my plate or revisiting things that don't seem to make sense, and just cutting those things out, because if you continue to do the things that don't serve your future, your family, or serve others. Those are the 3 things that I try to evaluate. Does this serve my future? Does it serve my family? Or does it serve others that I care about, things that I'm involved in? And if it doesn't match those 3 things, I will just try to say no. I try to be graceful in the way that I say no, but just saying no, because I feel like if I am the best version of myself, if I am most productive, that's how I'm serving the world and serving my family and serving everything that I want to do better. So that's number 2. So number 3, this is a huge one here. Get around people that don't waste time, and get around people that will help you manage your time, help you spread your time thinner than you could before, right? So being involved and effective in more things is what you want to see. So you want to see people that are able to juggle a lot of things and be effective at that. Not a bunch of people who get involved in a bunch of things, but they're not good at anything, but people that don't waste time. They go from thing to thing. They're very effective, and they will help you be effective as well. If you are around people that don't respect time, you won't either. Remember that. Number 4, evaluate. This is a big one too. Evaluate the number of hours that you spend actually being productive, not the number of hours that you spend working, or not the number of hours that you spend parenting, but rather the number of hours that you actually spend being effective, getting it done, making progress. This is the biggest thing that I have seen in my career professionally, and I have tried to bring this into my personal life with parenting, with being a husband, with all of those things. I try to evaluate not the number of hours that I am spending sitting at my desk, quote, working, but the number of hours that I'm actually spending being effective. And so that is when, in my planner, I've got a W and an L that I record every single day. And so the last couple days for me have not been that effective. So those days have been L's for me. But when I find myself chaining together a bunch of W's, it's the days that I spend the most hours being effective, actually making progress. Because we'll go days, sometimes weeks, without making real progress, and we don't tell ourselves that that's not okay, and that's how we get in a rut with regard to managing our time. So number 4 is evaluate the number of hours that you spend actually being productive. Number 5, here's where it gets good. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself about your time. So many people lie to themselves and lie to those people around them about how they use their time. You have the guiding light of right and wrong when it comes to everything in life, but we'll talk about time for today, right inside of you at all times. Stop listening to the lies that you tell yourself, and you will be much better off. I promise you. If you can stop listening to those lies that you tell yourself, you will be a lot better off when it comes to how you manage your time. Because if you don't be honest with yourself, I stare at that planner every single day that I have to write down an L, and I consider in my mind whether I really have to write that L or not, because I want to win. But the reality is that the more honest I am with myself, the more of those L's that I write down, the less of them I will have in the future if I'm honest with myself. Number 6, this is an important one too. They're all important. Set check-in points to review your progress with regard to time management. So with regard to time management, how are you actually measuring it from time to time? How are you measuring your progress? This is another thing that I see people do. They never evaluate those things in their life. They never actually take the time to sit down and look at, how did this day go? How did this week go? What kind of progress did I make? The people that are inside my business will tell you, we track everything, right? And we track everything week to week, day to day, month to month. We try to figure out what that actually looks like so that we have check-in points. Are we making progress or are we falling behind? It's the same thing with your time. I will also tell you these check-in points will give you that gut check. You're not always going to make the right decisions when it comes to your time. But what I try to do is at least if I review it, I can recognize that I made a mistake, and I generally don't make the same mistake twice, especially if it cost me a whole lot of time. So set check-in points to review your progress with time management. We have every tool under the sun now to make check-in points easy. It could be a reminder in your calendar on your phone that you carry around 24/7. It could be an alarm that you set. It could be a note on your refrigerator, whatever. But just make sure that you've got check-in points to review your time management. And number 7, last but not least, realize that time management, guys, is a lifelong project. It is, no matter how good we get at it, we always want to be better because it is the only thing that we can't get more of. And that is the biggest challenge that we have in life, is how to manage our time. And so many people, we've all seen it, right? People get late in life and they have a lot of regrets because they didn't do this or they didn't do that. And I would tell you that I think and believe that a lot of those tie back to the fact that people didn't manage their time. They didn't take the time to review how they were managing their time. They weren't honest with themselves. This whole list. So I would encourage you guys to spend some time thinking about this and thinking about, how you treat your time today, how serious you are about time management. It will reveal to you exactly where you're at. And once you establish where you're at, where you're going becomes very easy. It becomes easier. And then it comes down to, and we talk about this a lot too, it's discipline. It's just that constant discipline of realizing that this is a project. It's not something that you're ever going to check the box on. It's something you have to work at. You got to get better at. And again, you have to help those people around you get better at it, because when they don't respect time, it impacts you. It will absolutely make you less effective at managing your time if you have a bunch of people in your life that don't have a lot of respect for time. And you can evaluate that in a variety of ways. If you see people just doing things that are unproductive many, many hours of the day, if you see people making excuses for everything that they don't get done, if you see people that don't take the time to do the things that they need to do, they're constant procrastinators, those are indicators that you've got some people around you that don't necessarily respect time. And it's going to be really, really difficult for anybody to be successful, more successful, or make some kind of progress in their life if they can't learn to manage time. I hope it was helpful for you guys. This is a thing that I've been working on for years. It's something that, again, is a work in progress. I call it a project for a reason because I don't think that you will ever master it. I don't think that you'll ever be at a point where you look at time management and say to yourself, like, man, I got this down pat. This is easy. Because there's constantly things coming into your life that are new, that are different, that are trying to take your time away from you, that are trying to steal your time, that are trying to borrow your time. So I hope that this was extremely helpful for you guys. This is the time of year where these things become really imperative because everybody's, the new me, new year, new me. Everybody's trying to work on different things. And so when they try to work on different things, a lot of people are going to try to put some of those things into your lap or get you involved in their projects instead of you working on your own. So having the clarity around time that you need is a really, really important thing to have as you go into 2020 here. So what's happening, Trudy? Brian Sherman, what's going on, man? Bruce, agreed, man. No is a complete sentence. And it is, guys. And you shouldn't feel bad saying no to something that doesn't serve you, because the truth is there's probably somebody else that will be far more effective, at doing that task than you. And that's how you have to think about it and how you have to handle it. What's happening, David Doyle? Good morning, man. I guess I could stand to improve my time management. Bro, we haven't worked together in a while, but I would guess that that's probably still accurate. It's still accurate for me, man. I could still improve too. Derek Geist, what's happening, my brother? Good morning to you. Chris Patterson, great to see you on the stream, man. Glad you're feeling better. Chris had a little visit to the hospital recently, so everybody sends some prayers to Chris Patterson up there in Michigan. I believe he's back in Michigan. Elizabeth, his wife, is on here. Good morning. My wife is on here. There you go. She's on here listening. So, and Joe, what's happening, man? Good morning, Joe Grosha. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, I hope that it was helpful. If it was, again, I'm asking you guys every day to just please share one of these episodes. If you found this to be helpful, share this episode or share a previous episode either through Facebook or on the podcast platform, through YouTube, anywhere that you can find this show. Just text it, DM it, any method that you got to get it in somebody's hands. Put it on their timeline so a bunch of other people can see it. But just please share the show out. The numbers speak for themselves. You guys are being extremely helpful with getting this out to people. So last month was this month actually is a record month for downloads on the podcast already, and it's January 7th. So if that doesn't speak to momentum, it's happening, guys. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the support, and I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow morning right here, same place, same time. I will be on the road tomorrow, but we'll be here 7:30 a.m. right here on Morning Perspective. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Love you guys.